This is Newcap News with Nicole Stilger.
With 27 years of experience under his belt and many postings across Canada, it's been just over a month since the Lloydminster RCMP welcomed its new commander. We hear from Inspector Neill Pearson to see how he's adjusting to his new role and his plans for the detachment. Inspector Pearson, new to the role of inspector for the Lloydminster RCMP, but not new to Lloydminster. You've worked in the border city before. Tell me about your previous time spent here and how the adjustment is going.
Well, I was here posted in 1995-96 and when I was stationed in Saskatchewan. So we came here, my family was young, a different role then, of course. I was a constable on a watch. We had a little different size detachment. It was smaller. We had 3 watches, but the streets haven't changed too much, just grown a little more to the west. It's a little bigger than when I was here. I often tell the people here that the road to the airport was the end of town when I was here. So, no, I really enjoyed it. I remember some of the streets and how to get around. So, it's kind of nice, and especially to come back as the OIC. It's really gratifying, and I'm really happy to be here. Very happy.
Is it difficult for you to walk into a new detachment as the new inspector and quickly get a handle on what's going on, and what has that adjustment been like for you? Well,
I was quite fortunate. I was actually commissioned to Eastern Alberta District, so I was based out of St. Paul. So as part of my role, I was in charge, oversaw the operations here. So I knew some of the how things were going on here. So I saw an opportunity here with a vacancy to come here, and I enjoyed detachment policing. It's I think it's what I do best. I really enjoy working with my members, dealing with the public, dealing with the council. So for me, it was almost a no-brainer to come here.
And you are, of course, the 3rd commander of this detachment in the span of 6 months. That's including acting officer in charge, Staff Sergeant Brent Sawatsky. What are your plans for yourself here and the detachment moving forward?
I'm going to tighten up some procedures and some personnel issues and that. But really, from what I've seen so far, the programs here are well run. They're well focused. The membership here is very solid. I really like the support of the city and the community here. I think there'll be some tweaking, but nothing too radical. I'm going to be introducing a traffic component definitely into the detachment. I think that really is lacking here. So it'll be a bit more of an aggressive traffic component, which I'm going to be working on. But I'm also maintaining the programs that Inspector Manji did with regards to the habitual offenders, the ComStat. Those sort of programs I think are being managed quite well here. I have a really good staff here, and we're quite dedicated to keeping those programs active and keeping people in check.
Well, Inspector Pearson, thank you so much for your time today.
All right, thank you.
And while the Olive Tree is usually responsible for giving, they are now on the receiving end of a very special donation. Angie Mellon reports.
The Olive Tree received a new van from Spectrum Restoration DKI, Advanced Cleaning, Border City Fire and Flood, and First General Services to help transport food and furniture.
We've been trying to purchase a van or find a van for about a year now. So it's definitely something that's going to save us a lot of time and wear.
The idea to donate the van came from a joke made by Sheely's husband.
It was actually, my husband helps me out when I'm busy. And he was running errands for me one day, and he was at Border City Fire and Flood, and we've been looking for a van for a year, and said a joke like, oh, you should donate this van to the Olive Tree. And Harold right away just said, oh, do you need a van? You can have it. So it was awesome.
While the Olive Tree is very grateful for the donation of the van, plus funding for maintenance, fuel, and insurance, the businesses just say the Olive Tree is a worthy cause.
We were using our own personal vehicles, so we made multiple trips to the grocery stores in different places and lots of wear and tear, so we're very thankful to have a van.
I think it's just a really good cause for everybody to be involved in, and it really shows our industry is supporting the community.
The van will help with their food rescue program, which repurposes food from businesses, restaurants, grocery stores, and individuals.
Food rescue is basically preventing good food from ending up in the landfill and getting to families and children and people, seniors in the city that could use it. So we distribute between 4,000 to 8,000 pounds every month.
Angie Mellon, Newcap News.
Well, there are many types of hides out there used for making a variety of products. In this week's edition of Retrospect, Gina Martin shows us a business in Unity who made their mark with a unique leather.
Maverick Tannery and Leathers began as an idea 4 years ago. Hal Hepting and his son Brent decided to tan ostrich skins. Ostrich leather is second in toughness to only kangaroo and make excellent boots because of their long life and ability to stretch in all directions. However, the main difference between ostrich leather and regular leather are the pips. Little bumps left after the feathers are pulled out.
That's what they look like when they come in.
Most of Maverick's business is done on a custom basis. Producers send them their skins, called green skins, with most of the feathers plucked out and some of the fat already removed.
And we do an assessment of the skin when we see it. We look for holes, skinning holes, because that's going to downgrade the leather. We look for anything that might be a scab that the bird received when it was alive, and that's going to affect the leather.
The green skins are sent through a process that can take up to a month. If everything goes right, this is what the finished product looks like.
It's very important that each stage is done properly or it's ruined.
Business has been good for Maverick, and they expect things to get even better if the market for ostrich leather opens up.
As the decades went by, Maverick Tannery went under new ownership in 2012 after experiencing a few bumps in the road.
It's been picking up, getting busy. When I took over the business, it was dusting off the cobwebs. The previous owner had a tough time keeping employees around with the oil field pulling staff away. And, I've been able to spend some time in here myself and promote it around the region, and I've had a lot of success here locally.
And when it comes to ostriches, the business still tans the hides, but Mothy says it's not as common as it once was, as the industry has taken a bit of a dip. The business focuses now more on powwow regalia and tools for saddle makers. That's all for Retrospect this week. I'm Gina Martin.
Back at home, Lloydminster City Council back in council chambers for the first time in the new year. Budget discussions are on hold until January 30th, but today's meeting featured a few important items, including funding for the wastewater treatment plant. MacVicar has more from City Hall.
A shorter meeting for Lloydminster City Council today, but a few major ticket items on today's agenda as well. The first being the Lloydminster Economic Development Corporation, something that's been top of mind for many heading through budget deliberations here, and City Council has finally made a decision on what they're going to do with it moving forward. They went with option 3 out of 4 presented by administration, and the third option states they will dissolve the arm's length agency and bring all 3 staff members in-house under the City of Lloydminster banner to work within City Hall. This does bring certainty heading into the next council meeting, where the final budget is expected to be presented and possibly approved on January 30th. The next big ticket item was the wastewater treatment plant and funding for that major project. City Council decided on an application today to the federal government's Clean Water and Wastewater Infrastructure Fund. Now, the project is $80 million, and Council is hoping the government will cover about 2/3 of that, but there's no telling whether they will get approved for this because they've applied for it before and have been rejected before. The deadline for this application is January 23rd, so only a matter of time before we hear back from the federal government on that. Besides that, a proposed increase to fees at local sports facilities and allocation of funds for the family and community support services. But of course, we're going to have all of this and more on Newcap News throughout the week. Reporting from City Hall, Adam MacVicar, Newcap News.
And the Lloydminster Rotary Club held a new sort of panel at their luncheon today. Business leaders from agriculture to retail were asked questions about the year that was and the expectations for the year at hand. Gina Martin has the details.
The takeaways, from the last few years, certainly it's been a tough sled the last couple of years for so many within our community.
Guest speakers are always the focal point of the Lloydminster Rotary's lunches, but this Monday there was a new spin on the presentation. 3 business leaders sat at the front of the crowd, sharing their thoughts on the challenges and opportunities they encountered in 2016.
We know we've come through a couple of years of really difficult times, and it'd be interesting to find out from them, what did they learn and what are they going to do?
I think it was a good opportunity to listen and to talk a little bit about the future and what's happened over the last couple of years in and around our community, and certainly, I guess, a sense of where we might be going over the course of the next couple of years.
Though the panel was diversified in the types of businesses they managed, there was a common struggle amongst them.
Lloydminster has been on an economic boom for so long. We've always done so well because of the oil industry. Now that we're feeling the downside of that, it kind of hurts when it's our turn to take a stab.
And for Todd Hames, his business didn't only have to deal with a slow economy, but a whirlwind farming season.
It was one of those falls that it's in the history books. Interesting enough, it was a very good production year. So disappointing in some regards when we didn't have a good harvest, but production-wise, the crops are very good in the area and very good seasonal weather until October.
It was really interesting to watch from a retail perspective how they had the same problems as agriculture, but the opposite solutions. One is a local demand, and of course in agriculture it's a world demand.
On January 30th, an entirely different panel will attend the luncheon, sharing their observations of the previous year.
I think you get hope when you have more knowledge. The purpose of this is to give out some knowledge, so at least you can feel like, hey, there are some things I can control. This isn't only my problem, it's a problem of a lot of different other people in our community.
Gina Martin, Newcap News.
This is Newcap Sports.
Well, it was a busy weekend for Lakeland College athletics with 4 teams hitting the court Saturday. Here's Lance Phillips to get us caught up on both Rustlers volleyball teams.
It was a tale of opposites for Lakeland College's men's and women's volleyball teams Friday and Saturday. The men's squad dropped both matches to a powerful Keano College team, while the women's team improved its record to 12-4 thanks to dominant 3-0 wins on both nights. And head coach Austin Dyer commented on the team's performance Saturday.
We were able to take care of the first set. It was decently close for the most part until the end, and then into the second and the third we settled it, and we tried to keep our focus on our own side and executing our skills, and we passed really well, so it's really tough for any team to be able to play with us if we pass really well.
And for the remainder of the season, it will be tough for other teams, considering the next 3 matches for the women are against teams below them in the standings.
At the end of the day, we still need to win, and every team that we play against, if we don't execute and if we don't play well, there's a chance that we can lose regardless of where they are in the standings.
Obviously, there's always things that you can improve, and we're kind of just trying to focus on our side and make sure that we're ready for the end. So one step at a time and trying to make every contact better.
The men's side struggled Friday, but had a better effort Saturday, keeping all 3 sets close.
Defensively and first contact was way better tonight than it was yesterday. We just didn't have that little push. And I mean, if we don't have an injury here and then an injury in the third set, we're even more competitive.
I'm much more pleased. Yeah, yesterday was a little rough. There's a lot of mental breakdowns we had, but today was a lot better. We communicated more. We didn't get down on ourselves more.
We still left a little bit on the floor that I think the guys are going to be pretty disappointed that was the case, but we competed. We battled hard, and we played some side-out volleyball against a really good team.
Lance Phillips, Newcap Sports, Lloydminster.
Well, the cross season in Alberta and Saskatchewan doesn't start until May, but that hasn't stopped the Vermilion Rage from planning a great event to kick off its regular season. Once again, Lance Phillips has more.
On May 4th, 2012, the Vermilion Rage played its first game as a member of the Rocky Mountain Lacrosse League, and nearly 5 years later is on the verge of another first. The organization has been working to host a 10-team tournament that's tentatively scheduled to take place April 1st through 4th, 2017.
Well, our captain there, Shane Moon's been talking about putting on a tournament for the last couple of years and been kicking it around, seeing what kind of sport we could get. And now he's got the commitment. We got the team to put it together, and we've got commitment already from a couple teams out of the state.
We actually had a couple exhibition games with some teams from Saskatchewan last year, and we kind of planted the seeds then. We've had a lot of interest from across Western Canada, teams in Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and BC, and also some interest from some U.S. teams.
With all the excitement built around the concept, the tournament's organizers still require more commitment. And a reason for the challenge can be summed up in one word.
Travel. And it's like most senior sports, the guys are on their own Mom and dad aren't paying for it. It's hard to do fundraising for a senior team in a community that has junior sports.
But the Rage have taken steps to make a tournament more affordable for players and teams.
We've done a lot of work with the Alberta Referees Association. They cut us a deal on the referee floor time. The town of Vermilion was excellent. We got a reduction on our tournament stadium fee, so we were able to pass the savings along to teams that are coming as far as a tournament fee. And yeah, the hotels in Vermilion have been pretty good too. They've also given us a rate for teams coming. So we've done what we can on our end.
The immediate, tangible benefit is a boost to the local economy. But there's more at stake, and it begins at the grassroots level.
The numbers in Vermilion are starting to slow down. So we've taken steps to involve the Vermilion Minor Lacrosse Association in our tournament. So hopefully it draws an awareness in the community again.
Lance Phillips, Newcap Sports, Lloydminster.
Here is Newcap weather.
Gerard, experiencing some record-breaking temperatures
Yeah,
like today and even this week, but winter is still here. I mean,
Yeah, we're not done with winter, but
No.
at least we're past the halfway point for
Absolutely.
Western Canada. That's certainly welcome, and it's possible that we could break some temperature records. I've seen it happen before
Absolutely.
in January, and it is possible this week, certainly for some parts of Saskatchewan. We'll see if we'll fall in that category. So, -2 at the moment, feels like -8, southwest winds 23 km, partially cloudy evening there, but nothing to worry about with it there. Let's see where it can take us for the next little while there. Firstly, for tomorrow, we're saying 4 is possible. We might even see 5 as we look at this scale. Offers some more possibilities of warmer weather, and 4 is also possible on Wednesday. See, even in the overnight lows, not really falling away too badly. 4 again possible on Wednesday, and 4, maybe 5 for tomorrow. We'll see where it goes there. Right now, 0 in Cold Lake and area, -4 clear evening in the Battlefords, and partially cloudy conditions for ourselves in the Lakelands. We're sitting at -2. On the overnights to the early hours of the morning, -4, -5, -7 is possible around the region. Maybe trace amounts of flurry activity for some parts of the Lakeland area. And tomorrow, 30% chance, should change that icon. It's more likely to be rain if it does materialize, whatever precipitation out there, because it's so warm at those higher altitudes. It'll come down as rain, and at the surface, the surface we are above 0, so nothing to worry about there, really. Light rain is possible. 4 in the Midwest, 4 in Cold Lake and area, and 3 in the Battlefords have put in there. Balmy January. So let's enjoy it while it goes along there for the next little while. 4 on Wednesday, 2 on Thursday, 1 on Friday. Winds shifting to east and northeast on Saturday. 30% chance of returning to the usual on Saturday evening, going into Sunday. About a 30% chance again. -3 on Sunday, -1 next Monday. That's a look at the next 7 days. Add a little fact here. By the end of the week, we're probably going to add on another 20 minutes of daylight. Yeah, that too is also changing out. That's a look at the next 7 days.